Well, hello there, friends. Three Card Thursday for April 15th, 2021. I'm Brian No. Glad to be with you once again. And we will be taking a look at three cards to just a little energy reading to kind of take a look at where we might want to focus our attention for the weekend to come. But first, wanted to draw your attention to a post over on the Cards of Light weblog at brightblessingstarot.com. If you've been watching these videos, you probably know that I've been working almost exclusively with the Thoth tarot deck over the past few weeks here, and it has been a delightful experience thus far. I had avoided this deck for 2 years um, for several reasons. I mean, one was it's a very uh, a lot of moving parts, lots of symbolic systems involved with this deck, lots to learn, and I just wasn't ready for it yet. And another was I was just prejudiced against the deck because uh, Crowley was one of the creators, but it's turned out to be just really, really, really fun exploring this deck and learning about it. So I'm glad that I finally took the plunge. It has occurred to me that this deck does some things especially well that other decks that I have used don't do quite as well, or at least they didn't for me. And I don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the Rider-Waite-Smith system. I love the Tarot de Marseille. Still use those. Probably in reading for others, will tend to use those more than I do this Thoth deck. But uh, this deck is able to, for me anyway, to get at information that the other decks don't make as readily apparent. Um, I've linked to this blog post in the description of the video if you want to take a look. I'd love to hear what you think. Long and the short of it is where other decks, and this is the example that I gave, like you might draw a Five of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and think, okay, that's an argument or a scuffle of some kind. Or a Five of Wands in the Marseille deck, and you might think, okay, this is change. This is, change coming. If you draw a Five of Wands in this Thoth deck, what you come to learn about that is that the card represents the power, the energy of Leo that is being kind of pent up by the gravity of Saturn. And so you've got all of this passion and all of this fire that's just sort of being contained there. And when it gets free, then boom, there's all this fast dispersal of energy. So this deck seems to get at the energies that are underneath what we experience. And because everything we experience as material reality is really energy. We know that from physics. Um, and so to be able to get a peek at the actual confluence of energies that are developing uh, to create a situation, whether you're looking at an event or a personality or something like that, it's really something cool, and I think unique in large part, at least, to this deck. So, would love to hear your thoughts on that. If you get a chance to head on over to the weblog and take a look at that post, that would be lovely. Let's turn the camera to the table now, and we have three cards for the weekend to come. So, in the first position here, we have the Six of Cups, and this is a card that came up recently, either in another small card draw or spread, or in a daily draw, maybe I can't remember which. But the key word that Crowley gave it is pleasure, and sixes in in this deck are all very auspicious cards. They're really happy cards when they turn up. Uh, they relate to a specific position on the Kabbalah's Tree of Life that is auspicious. And So, and this is the card too, that in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, we've got this lovely picture of the little children with their cups of flowers in this idyllic setting, just enjoying playing together. So I think of this card as being about pleasant memories, maybe nostalgia to a certain extent. And so in this first position of this reading, I would say that that either means that we need to bring that sense of pleasure, the sense of everything being just the way it's supposed to be, everything in its place, that we need to bring it forward with us into what is going on over the next few days. Or it may also, since it's in this position sort of over here as the past, may also mean let's not get hung up on nostalgia. Let's focus a little bit more on what's going on right in the present moment. Or it could mean both of those things. But that's the way I would read that one, that we've got some pleasant memories to bring into the situation. Let's not get hung up on those, though. Let's focus on what's going on right now. And as always, if you have got thoughts on how to read these, if you're a card reader, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you're not a card reader and you've got questions or comments, I'd love to hear those as well. You can either comment here on the video or over on the weblog or on my personal Facebook if you'd like, whatever suits you. Okay, here in the current moment, we've got the Moon card. And I think of this card as something that is about to emerge. In Crowley's description of the card, it's kind of a nightmare. It's like the darkness that we have to pass through to get to the daylight. And the vista right now is filled with darkness and fear and that sort of thing. In other systems, it I think stands for wildness. It stands for the urges within ourselves that we kind of can't run from, that are just very deep inside us. Some people relate the Moon card to our deepest desires and dreams, the stuff that if we can connect to and bring it up to the surface, make us unique and special in the world. So in this position, I would say that this card tells us, first of all, hang on. If we're in the darkness right now, if things are scary or frightening, the daylight is coming sooner rather than later. And so keep walking. You never walk alone, like the lyrics of the song say. Keep moving on through that and we'll get to the daylight. I think it also is a prompt to get in touch with what is very deep inside us, that maybe we try to hide, that maybe we don't want to always show to other people, to kind of try and bring up what is unique and special and get that up to the surface a little more. It also may mean that something is coming into the picture just about there, like an idea waiting to be born, something that is just starting to emerge but isn't quite up in our line of sight yet, isn't quite in our conscious mind yet, or hasn't quite come to light, something along those lines that will emerge over the next few days. So that's the way I would read that one. If you're feeling the darkness now, hang on. The light is coming in. And indeed, then we get over here to the Queen of Wands. And this one came up, I think, Monday in Daily Draw this week as well. And this is, so queens in the Thoth deck represent the watery expression of whatever suit they are in. And Wands is the suit of fire. So the Queen here, this Queen of Wands, would be considered water of fire, which seems like a very odd sort of combination, but basically it's the aspects of fire that are fluid and moving and changing. She's petting her leopard here. There's a pine cone on her scepter, and that has long been associated with the pineal gland and with higher states of consciousness. And so we've got a lot of fiery energy coming through here, but the kind that is moving around a lot, and so maybe kind of hard to get a handle on, hard to control. And so I would say that we need to think about how we want to channel that energy, how we want to ground it, how we want to not necessarily contain it. That's maybe not the right word, but tend it well in the coming days. So overall, an interesting group of cards here, and thought-provoking. And I may have some additional thoughts after these settle a little bit, and we'll share those either in comments here or out on the weblog if things do occur to me. And certainly, again, if you have thoughts or ideas or comments or anything on these, I would love to hear from you as well. I hope this week is going well for you and that you are safe and healthy and happy. And until next time, take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.